Abraham Lincoln's life story reads like an American epic, a tale of rising from the humblest beginnings to the highest office, of facing down the nation's darkest threats with unshakable resolve, and of transforming the future through a commitment to justice and equality. Born in a simple log cabin on the American frontier, Lincoln's journey was anything but easy. He overcame poverty, self-doubt and political failures, driven by a relentless sense of purpose and a moral clarity that would define his legacy. Few could have imagined that this self-taught lawyer from Illinois would one day lead the country through its bloodiest conflict, the Civil War, and reshape its core values forever. Lincoln's presidency was marked by bold choices and heartbreaking challenges as he worked tirelessly to preserve the Union and ultimately bring an end to slavery in America. His eloquence and compassion, embodied in timeless speeches like the Gettysburg Address, would make him not only a powerful leader, but also a profound moral voice that resonates to this day. Lincoln's life and legacy offer an inspiring story of resilience and dedication to the ideals of liberty, equality, and democracy. He was a man of paradoxes, gentle yet firm, humorous yet somber, cautious yet bold. As we delve into the fascinating chapters of his life, we uncover the story of a man who was shaped by hardship and who, in turn, shaped the course of American history. Early life from 1809 to 1831. Birth and family background. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809 in a one-room log cabin in Hardin County, Kentucky. His parents, Thomas and Nancy Hanks Lincoln, were poor farmers. His father struggled to make a steady living, moving the family several times to escape legal issues over land ownership. Moved to Indiana. In 1816, when Abraham was 7, his family moved to Indiana. They sought free land to escape the legal issues with property ownership in Kentucky. In 1818, when Abraham was 9, his mother Nancy died of milk sickness, a disease caused by drinking contaminated milk. His father remarried in 1819 to Sarah Bush Johnston, a widow with 3 children. Abraham developed a close relationship with his stepmother, who encouraged his reading and learning. Although he attended only a few months of formal schooling, Lincoln was a voracious reader, often borrowing books from neighbors and reading by the firelight in the evenings. Some of his favorite books included Aesop's Fables, the Bible, and Shakespeare's works. Lincoln moved to New Salem, Illinois, in 1831, where he worked various jobs, including as a store clerk, surveyor, and postmaster. During this time, he also gained a reputation for honesty, earning the nickname Honest Abe. Military service. In 1832, Lincoln joined the Illinois militia to serve in the Black Hawk War, a brief conflict between the United States and Native Americans led by Black Hawk. Although he never saw combat, he was elected captain of his company, an honor he would remember with pride. Political beginnings. In 1832, Lincoln ran unsuccessfully for the Illinois state legislature. 2 years later, he ran again and won, becoming a representative for the Whig Party, which was then the party of modernization, economic growth, and opposition to the spread of slavery. He served 4 terms in the legislature. Becoming a lawyer. Lincoln developed an interest in law, borrowing books from a local attorney and studying on his own. He passed the bar exam in 1836 and soon became known as a capable and dedicated lawyer, practicing in Springfield, Illinois. Marriage and family life. In 1842, Lincoln married Mary Todd, a well-educated woman from a wealthy family in Kentucky. The couple had 4 sons, Robert, Edward, Willie, and Tad. Only Robert survived to adulthood. Congressional term. In 1846, Lincoln was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives as a Whig. During his single term, he opposed the Mexican-American War, arguing that it was unjust and expanding slavery into new territories. This stance made him unpopular back in Illinois. Return to law. After his term ended in 1849, Lincoln chose not to seek re-election and returned to his law practice in Springfield. He became one of the most respected lawyers in the state, known for his skill in argument and integrity. Kansas-Nebraska Act. In 1854, the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which allowed territories to choose whether to allow slavery, reignited Lincoln's passion for politics. He became increasingly vocal against the expansion of slavery, which he saw as morally wrong and politically dangerous. Formation of the Republican Party. Lincoln joined the newly formed Republican Party in the 1850s. The party united former Whigs, Free Soilers, and anti-slavery Democrats in opposing the expansion of slavery. Lincoln-Douglas debates. In 1858, Lincoln ran for the U.S. Senate against incumbent Stephen A. Douglas. Their debates, known as the Lincoln-Douglas debates, focused largely on the issue of slavery. Although Lincoln lost the Senate race, the debates showcased his moral and intellectual opposition to slavery and elevated his national profile. Election of 1860. Lincoln ran for president as the Republican candidate in 1860. His platform opposed the expansion of slavery into new territories, but did not call for immediate abolition in states where it was already legal. His election led Southern states to believe their interests were under threat, prompting them to secede and form the Confederate States of America. Civil War begins. When Lincoln took office in March 1861, 7 Southern states had already seceded, and 4 more would follow. The Civil War officially began in April 1861, when Confederate forces attacked Fort Sumter in South Carolina. Leadership in wartime. Lincoln faced significant challenges during the war, balancing military strategy, politics, and morale. He often clashed with his generals whom he felt were not aggressive enough. Eventually, he found effective commanders in Ulysses S. Grant and William Tecumseh Sherman. Emancipation Proclamation. On January 1, 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all enslaved people in Confederate-held territories were free. While it did not immediately free all slaves, it turned the Civil War into a fight against slavery and opened the door for the eventual abolition of slavery. Gettysburg Address. In November 1863, Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address at the dedication of a national cemetery. In just 272 words, he reiterated the principles of equality and democracy and expressed hope for a new birth of freedom. Re-election in 1864. Despite the toll of the war, Lincoln won re-election in 1864. His victory reflected the Northern public's commitment to preserving the Union and, increasingly, to ending slavery. 13th Amendment. Lincoln played a critical role in pushing for the passage of the 13th Amendment, which would permanently abolish slavery in the United States. It was passed by Congress in January 1865 and ratified later that year. End of the Civil War. In April 1865, General Robert E. Lee surrendered at Appomattox Courthouse, effectively ending the Civil War. Lincoln began to outline his plans for a lenient Reconstruction, aiming to bring the Southern states back into the Union peacefully. Ford's Theatre. On April 14, 1865, just 5 days after Lee's surrender, Lincoln attended a play at Ford's Theatre in Washington, D.C. He was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, a Confederate sympathizer, who shot him in the head. Death and national mourning. Lincoln died the following morning, on April 15th. His death was a profound shock to the nation, which mourned the loss of its leader. His body was transported across the country by train, allowing millions to pay their respects. Legacy. Preservation of the Union. Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War preserved the United States, preventing its division. Abolition of slavery through the Emancipation Proclamation and his support for the 13th Amendment, Lincoln played a crucial role in ending slavery. Influence on American ideals. Lincoln's speeches, especially the Gettysburg Address, have become fundamental statements of American ideals of democracy, equality, and unity. Symbol of equality. Lincoln's legacy as a champion of liberty and justice has continued to influence movements for civil rights and equality in the US and around the world. In conclusion, Abraham Lincoln remains a towering figure in American history. His leadership during the Civil War and his commitment to ending slavery solidified his reputation as one of America's greatest presidents. His life and legacy continue to inspire generations in the pursuit of equality, justice, and national unity.